Yo, what is up guys, it's your girl Bex and welcome back to the race rundown post Chinese Grand Prix. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? An amazing sprint weekend with many overtakes and some all-round fun, with Russell taking it and Lewis seemingly finding his mojo once again. Williams then in qualifying out in Q1 along with Cadillac. George having problems with his engine during qualifying, and Kimi taking it to become the youngest pole sitter in history. Congrats to him. First Italian on pole since Fisichella in 2009. Again, I apologise for my pronunciation of names, I'm trying to get better. Aston continues to have issues before the race with their car, and let's get into the lead up / the race, shall we? So it appears at the beginning of the race during the pit walk that Lando is having some electrical issues and may not be able to start, and at the time of writing these notes we were told he would be starting from the pit lane. We have since found out, obviously, that both the McLarens did not start, along with Albon and Bortoletto. Sad times. So during the grid walk we saw that Lando was having electrical issues and might not have been able to start the race. They had to take his seat out of the car, and as we know, neither of the McLarens started this race due to some electrical issues. During this grid walk we also found that the pitot tube on the Audi is facing forward, which is really strange. The airbox is also massive on the Racing Bulls and the side pods are smaller, which could be a contributing factor to their significant improvements in performance over the last two races, with as well rear wing issues for the Red Bull as noted. I've also put here that I love Bernie doing the grid walk with Ted. I think it is really interesting to get that technical insight from her. I've also noted here Chinese anthem has no words, ? Which I had no idea. So we then have Max, little interview. He says he wants to put himself P7 or P6 ahead of the Alpine. As we all know, that did not materialise. Kimi's starts have not been the best, so we could see him lose position, is what I also have noted here, with the race then starting following on from learning about the McLarens in the garage, Bortoletto being out and Alex Albon out as well. So we have the race, okay? We have the race start, more importantly. I have in all capital letters here, OMFG, for all those that know what that means. That start from Hamilton, honestly, absolutely unreal. Whatever they're feeding those Ferraris, I agree with Charles. It's like having the red mushroom in Mario Kart. Fair play to them. Both Ferraris right round the Mercedes in the first corner. Hadjar and Ollie have a collision with Alonso up in 10th. Short-lived, of course. Max in 12th. Both McLarens are out, as we know. Oscar is still yet to complete a lap in 2026. How on earth do we go from winning the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship to not even starting in the second race of the season? Absolutely unreal, and a true testament to the fact that changing in regulations can really mess up the entire field. Lap 4, the running order is as follows: Kimi, George, Lewis and Charles. Checo and Bottas noted for a collision as they crash into one another with no further investigation, as there just wasn't a gap there and it was a racing incident. Max then struggles to get past the Racing Bulls with graining on the front left, as the soft compound was not great this weekend. Hydraulic issues, we then later find out, is what caused Alex to be out of the race, with Stroll giving us a safety car. Good old Stroll pedo. Colapinto's then in second, Ocon is in third. Lewis round Ocon because he's late on the brakes, and by lap 17 we have Antonelli, Hamilton, Leclerc, Russell, Colapinto. Lap 18, yellow flag due to debris on the track, with Gasly being investigated for moving under braking. Max under investigation for turn 6 for pushing Colapinto wide. There was no further investigation on that. Fighting between Charles and Lewis on turn 7, 8, 9 and 10. Absolutely crazy, made them to lose lap times, but it made for good racing. George then passes Lewis. Lindblad, oh my god, I can't say his name, spins on lap 28, with Ferrari filling the batteries way quicker than the Mercs. Testament to them and their car at this stage in the season. Antonelli 7 seconds clear out front because of this ongoing Ferrari battle, making them lose time. George is meant to be the number one driver, but being outdone by Kimi, and I will still stand by that. Ocon then yellow flag, with Colapinto being basically struck by Ocon in an Ocon classic as always. Alonso retires the car as he begins to lose feelings in his hands at around lap 33, with Charles then going wide and Lewis going around. Ocon then receives a 10-second time penalty for his classic manoeuvre, with Lewis and Charles now 12 seconds behind Kimi. Max then retires the car on lap 46 due to a power unit / electrical issue, an ongoing theme here. 9 seconds between Kimi in first and George in second, with George's rear tyres gone with 5 laps left to go. George is an overrated driver, I have noted here. I genuinely agree with this. Flat spot for Leclerc from braking, and Antonelli has gone off at the hairpin, reducing his gap to 7.5 seconds. Honestly stressful. Sainz then up to 9th, with Ollie in 5th. Absolutely fantastic. And Kimi drifting around that final corner to bring it home for a Mercedes 1-2, with Lewis in 3rd. The extended Mercedes family, if you will. Then in Parc Ferme with David Coulthard, Kimi begins to cry as he's the first Italian to win in 20 years. Super cute. He's just a baby. Lewis being so nice in the cool-down room and just loving how comfy the sofa was, which, I mean, for a 41-year-old, fair play. And I also noted here that on the podium, Kimi is the same height as George even when he's on the top step, which just proves how much of a baby he actually is, which is hilarious. So yeah, that's kind of all we have from the Chinese Grand Prix, I suppose. There's not really a lot going on off track, as we're still pretty new into everything that's going on this season. I think there's a couple of teams that have got some issues. Aston Martin, McLaren, you know, I think Aston Martin have more issues than we even realise, not only with the car but with their driver lineup as well. I have a feeling that if this continues, Alonso won't stay for very long, and Lord knows why Stroll is still there. Honestly, it bullshit baffles brains. So yeah, that is basically it for the Chinese Grand Prix and the rundown from that. As far as I'm aware, we have no other news. Let me double check really quick. The F1 movie has been nominated for 4 Oscars. We shall have to see what happens there. Other than that, there is no real news apart from obviously the cancellation of Saudi and Bahrain for April due to the ongoing war out in the Middle East at the moment. So besides negative and depressing news, there isn't really a lot going on. I mean, there's some teams that have got some issues. There's a world war going on. So I guess we're just going to have to wait till the Japanese Grand Prix for a bit more action. So until then, I've been Hugo Bex. This has been the Race Rundown, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.